All right, guys, I'm just back from a hunt this last weekend where I took my 12-year-old out on his first big game hunt, and I jotted down some notes of lessons learned from taking a youth hunter. I've got 3 boys, but it's been a minute since I took one of my kids out on their own tag hunting, and I wanted to share with you guys some lessons that I learned that hopefully can help you guys out in the future if you're looking to take your youth out on their first big game hunt, or if you're taking a new hunter even. So I'm going to give you 5 tips and tricks or lessons learned that I had in the last week that hopefully can help you out in the future. All right, my first tip is to keep them fed and keep them hydrated. So kids love snacks. Specifically, they love snacks that they'll eat. So even though you're probably used to climbing out of your tent and eating a Pro Bar first thing in the morning, it's probably not the most appetizing thing for a 12-year-old. So pack things that they like. Last week when I took my kid, I packed a gallon Ziploc bag with a day's worth of food, similar to I would, but I packed it full of stuff that I knew he would enjoy. It would keep him busy, it would keep him engaged. So I packed things like string cheese, an apple, crackers, pepperoni, fruit leather, Snickers bar, Tootsie Rolls. Just snacks, things that kids can snack on that's gonna keep them busy, keep them engaged. You know, throughout the day when they're bored, it's just as easy for them to grab a snack and eat it, and it keeps the complaining down quite a bit. So keep them fed with snacks that they like. Second, make sure that they're hydrated. They're gonna sweat, you're gonna be covering some country. You gotta keep them hydrated, and specifically, I like to add some drink mixes. I'm not talking caffeine-laden drink mixes like I might use, but some of those hydrate mixes that have got some flavor to it, just give something to perk their spirits up when they need it. So that's my first tip, is to keep them fed, lots of snacks, and keep them hydrated. My second tip is to keep them warm. So your kids are a lot smaller. They don't have a lot of body mass. They don't have a lot of insulation like I'm packing around right now. So you got to keep them warm, specifically their hands and their feet. So I like to pack down gloves. I also like to pack a thinner set of gloves just when they're hiking to keep their hands warm. I think down booties are really nice for kids. You know, you can peel their boots off if you're going to sit down in glass for an extended period of time. It's going to keep their feet warm. Those are really the first thing that they complain about to me, is their hands and their feet. So I like to keep those warm. I also like to add those little Johnny hand warmer packets. You can pop those inside a set of down booties. You can put them in a glove or a jacket pocket to keep their hands warm. In addition to that, if you have the means, I think a set of down pants for your kids is a great addition to your kit. It's going to keep their legs warm. What I've noticed for me, and even my kids, if my legs are cold, it just kind of gravitates and goes up through me. I just feel cold overall. So if I can keep my legs warm, I feel way warmer overall. So those down pants are a great addition for me and for my kids. Other insulation layers like a beanie, a neck gaiter is really handy. Down jackets, and then a layering system. You almost have to think of it very similar to your own kit. They're going to be moving and active, so you got to be able to add layers when you're sitting and shed layers when you're hiking. So think about layering systems the same that you do, and make sure that you've got enough gear to keep them warm in the field. Typically, if you keep them fed, you keep them hydrated, and you keep them warm, they don't have a lot of complaining, and they're pretty happy to be there. My third tip, or my third lesson learned, is to help my kids stay engaged. I give them responsibility. I give them part of the hunt to their own. It's on their back. It's their responsibility. So his backpack was his responsibility. It's not a full backpack like I have an internal system. It was basically a day bag that a kid would use to go to school, if you will. But basically, I asked him, pack that with your down jacket, your down pants, your water, your food, your gloves, anything that you have that you need on you, that's your responsibility. And I think it helps the kid take some ownership over their hunt. It makes them feel involved. So give your kids some responsibility and let them do their part. Same thing, if you have some success, you kill an animal, help them be engaged by breaking down the animal. Help them do some skinning, let them go to work on it. They're probably going to make a little bit of a mess with some of the meat. It's going to take you way longer to process an animal if your kid helps you than if you just did it yourself. But help them be engaged, help them be a part of the process by giving them some responsibility. I turned over a hindquarter to my kid. I said, that one's your responsibility, skin that thing out. And then I'm gonna help you. I'm gonna show you how to get that quarter off. But I think giving your kids some responsibility, helping them be part of the hunt, it makes it that much better of an experience for them. It makes them feel more satisfied and just genuinely engaged in the hunt. So give them some responsibility. That'd be my third tip. My fourth lesson learned is that a new hunter only knows what they know, which isn't a lot because they don't have a lot of experience doing it. Things that I have done hundreds of times that are just second nature to me at this stage are things that my kids don't know. And I have to almost revert myself back into that mindset and over communicate every single step and process of the hunt. So things like, this is how we talk in the woods, we whisper. These are the things that we communicate, we stay engaged in the hunt, we're glassing, even things of describing an area where you see a deer, communicate to them, see that ridge, see that tree, describing the landscape to help them find an animal. Those kinds of details matter a lot in helping them feel part of the hunt and helping them stay in it. So you have to over communicate, and like I said, they only know what they know, which isn't a ton. Walking quietly is a good thing to remind them of when to eat, when to move, when to hydrate. When you get actually into a shooting situation, talking them through the process of breathing, acquiring the target, executing a shot, let that shot surprise you. And you also have to do that in a manner that kind of emotionally supports where they're at. It's an exciting moment. Nerves are pumping, my adrenaline's pumping, so I can imagine theirs is absolutely going through the roof. So helping them calm down, helping them breathe, and really talking them through those situations. So I would encourage you, and it's a lesson that I've had to learn and learn over and over again, I'm definitely not perfect at it, is over communicating. There are literally no dumb questions when you're out in the woods. Especially from a new hunter. I let my kid ask whatever questions he wants. I try not to get annoyed with him. I try to give him reasons behind why I do what I do and over communicate absolutely every step of the process. So that'd be my fourth tip. All right, my fifth and final lesson learned is I like to take the opportunity when I'm out in the woods with my kids to talk to them about all kinds of things. And I like to take notes prior to going on a hunt and make lists, if you will, of things I want to talk to them about. Because on a day-to-day basis, when they're in school and sports, I don't necessarily get those opportunities to just have one-on-one conversations with them about what's going on in their life, talk about their dreams, their goals, those kinds of things. I think it's a lesson that I've had to learn over and over, but I think it's important. Hunting is a great opportunity for you to spend time with your kids when you're completely detached from all the outside things that are going on in your life and their lives. So I would encourage you, it's a lesson I've learned. Take notes, pick your opportunities to talk about your kids, about those things that are going on in your life. In addition to that, I think it's a great opportunity to talk to them about things like why we hunt, talking to them about conservation, talk to them about hunting ethics and situations. I like to give my kids situations when we're out in the woods. For example, just this last week, we observed a bunch of other hunters that were out in the field, and we talked about how you interact with other hunters when you're out in the field. I talked to them about why they're doing what they're doing and why we're doing what we're doing. But I think it's a great opportunity for you to teach conservation, to teach hunting ethics, and also, why we do it. Talk to them about the meat. I like to talk to my kids about what we're going to make out of the animal should we get an opportunity to harvest one. So that's my fifth lesson learned. Take notes, take those opportunities because they really are so rare to visit with your kids out in the woods. So those are my 5 lessons learned. Keep them warm, keep them fed, dumb it down. There's no dumb questions, and you really have to keep it simple and over communicate all those steps that you've probably forgotten. Make sure that you are engaged and keeping them in it and really talking them through the process. And then also just find an opportunity to talk to your kids about anything that you wanted to in life, because that's a great opportunity to do so. So those are my 5 lessons learned. I hope you guys get your kids out, get them an opportunity to go hunting. I think it's an awesome thing to do with your kids. Probably some things I forgot. If you have any other tips that have been really great for you and your kids, drop them in the comments below, share them with everybody else. I'd appreciate that. But good luck this year. Take your kids hunting, and I hope the best for you and your kids.